and welcome to NameHero.com. Today I want to demonstrate how to set up your website in the cloud, and I want to talk a little bit about the cloud versus traditional website hosting. It seems to be a very common question amongst many that are trying to get web hosting. What's the difference? Why is cloud the way it is, and why is traditional web hosting the way it is? So hopefully this presentation will help you understand it a little bit better. So we're going to cover what is cloud hosting. We're going to cover the benefits that the cloud brings to your business, how to set up your cloud hosting account, how to manage your website, and also how to add additional websites to the cloud. So to get started, let's just give a brief overview about what is the cloud, or what is cloud web hosting. All right, so cloud web hosting is based on cloud computing technology, and that's what allows unlimited number of devices to act as one system. Okay, so with the traditional web host, you only have one physical system. You only have a dedicated server, and that one server is for your website. Now, you can have multiple dedicated servers for your site. Maybe have one for your website and have one for your database. Or maybe you have one for your web traffic, the other one for your email traffic. Or you could even have your web traffic split across two using a load balancer. But the biggest difference between traditional and cloud is traditional is just using physical devices. So another example is shared web hosting. Many of the shared hosts out there right now, that's who dominates the web hosting market. Your Bluehost, your HostGator, a Small Orange, all those companies use traditional web hosting to offer shared hosting to customers. So that's when you see an offer for, say, $3 a month. Well, what they're doing is those companies, they have one physical dedicated server and they load accounts on it. So sometimes they have hundreds, if not thousands, of accounts on that one server. Now, the problem with that is if the server hard drive fails, or the power system goes out, or the RAM fails, the whole server goes out, and so do all the websites. VPS, that's a virtual private server. And let's go to this next slide. It explains it a little better. A virtual private server is when you're taking that one physical dedicated machine and you're virtualizing it into multiple dedicated machines. So it's actually one physical device, but it might have, say, 4 different virtual instances, meaning it acts as 4 different dedicated servers. But the same thing is with the shared. If the hard drive goes out, the whole machine's going down. All virtual instances are going to stop. If the power goes out, the whole machine's going down, all the virtual instances. And then you have and dedicated, which we talked about, and dedicated just means it's just dedicated to your business. No one else is on it. Shared and VPS, you're sharing a physical machine. So that's why a dedicated server is so expensive, because it's just your website. Now, after the new millennium, and about 2003, 4, 5, we started really seeing a big shift towards companies moving towards the cloud, because traditional web hosting just wasn't working. Because, like I said, if a hard drive fails, well, the whole machine's down, and then you have to go to a failover process to stay online. Downtime costs your business. So that's why a lot of people are moving to the cloud, and that's why what we offer at NameHero.com is strictly only cloud hosting. We know that's the future of the web hosting industry. There is no future in traditional web hosting. The future is now in the cloud. And we're going to talk about the benefits here in just a second. But if you notice here on the screen, and the way I've set this presentation up is you can see the visitors that come in. And that visitors don't just access one physical dedicated server. They're accessing a bunch of dedicated servers, which make up one system. So if one of the hard drives fails, well, the whole site's not going to go out, because it's made up of a bunch of different machines. If a power supply fails, you're still not going to go down. So this allows for this tremendous redundancy and this tremendous scalability, because you're able to send your visitors to your site using multiple servers. So if you get a huge spike of traffic, you add more resources to your infrastructure. And that way it's much more cost effective too, because when you're just starting, you have no hits. You have no traffic when you're just starting your website. It takes 1 year, maybe 2 years, sometimes 3 and 4 years to really start getting real popular. But as you do that, your revenue increases, and then you can increase your infrastructure. So let's move forward here and let's talk about the benefits to the cloud to your business. Okay, we've discussed this briefly, but it's the highest level of website performance guaranteed by multiple servers. So it's the highest level of performance you can reach. The one dedicated server is no match for the cloud with unlimited resources. One VPS instance is no match for the cloud with all these multiple servers. And of course, you can't even compare shared hosting to cloud web hosting because it's not even in the same ballpark. So you have the guaranteed resources such as RAM and CPU power. You have redundant data storage, and that's another thing. The cloud is made up of all these physical machines providing almost infinite space. It's just depending, as long as there's more machines added to the cloud and in the cloud and more hard drives, there's tons of redundant data storage. No single point of failure. That is what we talked about, the hard drive going out or the power supply going out. There is no single point of failure. One hard drive goes out, one piece of RAM goes out, the whole cloud does not come crashing down because the whole system is made up of multiple machines. The website growth flexibility, because as I said just a few minutes ago, you can start with no traffic, and then as you grow, you can grow your infrastructure. It's lower pricing. A lot of big businesses, they used to start with a dedicated server because they didn't want anyone else on their machine. They didn't want to risk or compromise the security. So they would start out paying $200-300 a month for web hosting just to have that security and peace of mind. With the cloud, you don't have to do that. It's all in one. So it's a much lower pricing than going with dedicated or VPS. Again, resources scale up or down. And the security is guaranteed by many servers. You're not just on one physical machine that can get compromised, and then your whole business is compromised. It's guaranteed by the multiple servers in the cloud computing infrastructure. Okay, so how to set up your cloud hosting account. I'm going to show an example of how easy it is to set this up on NameHero.com. So the first thing you need to decide is what package best suits your needs. And it's important to note that you can upgrade at any time using NameHero. So let's switch our screen real quick and let's look here. Okay, so most businesses are going to fit right here into this business package. It allows one website with 30 gigabytes of storage and 100 gigabytes of bandwidth. Now our packages change from time to time, so make sure you check out the site for the latest. But if you just have one site and are getting started, then for about $1.50 a day, you can get started on the cloud. If you have more than one site, you can see we've got a package for 3, and then up in here in the agency, you get unlimited sites. So that's if you've got more than 3 sites, it only makes sense to go with the agency or ultimate. Now, dedicated IP addresses, these are important because if you plan on having a dedicated secure certificate for the site or private name servers, all that good stuff, you're going to need the dedicated IP addresses. So each one of our solutions allows you to have 1, up to 2, up to 4, and up to 8. So that helps you assign those to multiple sites. Okay, so for this tutorial, we're going to go ahead and select the professional. Okay, now I'm going to use an existing domain for this example, so I'm going to use namehero.org. Okay, just 1 second while I complete the payment, and then we'll finish the tutorial here. So after we complete our payment, we are in here in the NameHero.com platform. Now this is where we are going to access Webhost Manager because that's what controls our cloud hosting account. So let's take a quick view at just the setup of this. Okay, so you can see Webhost Manager, it controls the whole account. Within Webhost Manager, that's where we assign each site a unique cPanel. cPanels can control each one of our websites. So for each website we have a unique login to cPanel. So Webhost Manager, it takes care of everything, and cPanel allows us to control each site. Okay, so let's go back to here and let's log into Webhost Manager. Okay, so this is Webhost Manager, and this is unique for the account. So we can click right here, List Accounts, and this shows us we've set up namehero.org. So to manage the site, we access cPanel, and we do that by clicking right here. Okay, in this cPanel is how we're going to control every aspect of namehero.org. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to sync namehero.org is we need to make sure we update the name servers. So that's very important, and since this domain is registered with us at NameHero, I'll demonstrate. But you might need to set up here. Oops. Let's do this in basic. Okay, so we can look that the default name servers that we're going to use is going to be ns1.namehero.org and ns2.namehero.org. So we've got to set these up, and I'm going to walk you through just how to do that. So we need to register the name servers first. So we're just going to do ns1, and then we're going to use this IP address here. Now this is optional. You can use our name servers. If you don't want to have private name servers, that's fine. But it's all up to you what you want to do. Okay, so we've successfully registered that one, and now we're going to register the second one, which is the extra IP, and this comes in your welcome email when you sign up. And like I said, if you have any questions, we're more than happy to answer that for you. Okay, so then that was successfully registered. So now what we do is we just have to change the name servers to namehero.org. So we're going to do that here, and we're going to delete out these here. Okay, so that gives us custom name servers. And again, you don't have to use custom if you don't want to use custom. You can use ours, or you can use our DNS management system. Either way, so you have several different options. But that's going to save it and allow your name servers to be private. Okay, so after you do that, you can access your cPanel, and everything that you want to do for your website is going to be in cPanel. So you can look. We have a file manager. If you don't have an FTP program, you don't want to bother downloading one, you can manage it right here. But many of you are already familiar with cPanel because it's used on most all shared hosts, most all VPS hosts, most all dedicated server hosts use cPanel. So it's probably just a refresher for me to sit here and highlight it. The cool thing about us here at NameHero though is we have Cloudflare already integrated. So if you're familiar with Cloudflare, or if you're not, it basically speeds your website up and protects you from DDoS attacks. So to enable this, all you do is sign up with an email address and read through their terms and agree, and then it's activated on your account, and that's free of charge. And we also have Railgun enabled, which makes your site load really, really quick. We scroll down here, we've got some of the more important things that you're going to be looking for, and that's to install WordPress. WordPress is the most popular CMS system, so if you're setting up your cloud hosting site for WordPress, then you would just install it right here, and you'd simply fill out this form, and you would be all set and set your template and all that. Okay, so the final part of this tutorial, I want to show you how to add another domain name, because maybe you want to add more than just one name here. So the first thing you need to do is we need to go to Web Host Manager and add a package. So I'm in Web Host Manager, I'm going to click Package. Now this package is just going to tell the limits per each account. So you have to create a package to begin creating additional sites on your hosting account. So this package, we're just going to call it the basic. We have to give it a disk quota and a bandwidth because we don't offer unlimited here. If you just don't care about how much you offer, you can do 99999. And as long as you're within your account limits, then it's not going to cut it off or anything. So that's kind of one way you can go about it, is enter that for those. So we're just going to go ahead and click Add. And let's see here, we're added now. So now to create an account, we can just type in create. And let's just say namehero.net, nhnet2, enter our password. And naturally my passwords don't match. And we can enter an email address we want to in here. But then we just select the package we created. Okay. All these other options we can leave default. If you don't know what you're doing, don't even mess with them. Okay, and you can see it's that easy. Now we can list accounts, and you can see now namehero.net is set up on the machine. So we can access cPanel here, or we can access cPanel here. So we're all set on this machine now with another domain. And so all we need to do now is we need to go edit namehero.net's name servers to ns1.namehero.org and ns2.namehero.org, and we'd be all set. So that's how simple and easy it is to get your website in the cloud. Let's return back to our presentation and just make sure we covered all of our slides here. So again, Web Host Manager, that controls everything. Each site has its own cPanel, and we demonstrated this with namehero.org and namehero.net. Okay, so we'll move forward. This just explains a little bit more details about the steps we did to access the cPanel, and you can see I've got a big red arrow. And I'm also going to make these slides downloadable on NameHero.com on our blog, so you can download these slides if you would like to review them as well. Um, Here's how to add additional sites, and I showed how to set up a package. Okay, and then you fill out the form after you set up the package, and you've got as many sites as you need on the cloud. So that's it. That's all you need to do to set your website up in the cloud. It's not really rocket science. There's no coding. There's no command. There's no command terminals. There's no shelling in. It's very, very simple. If you need more tutorials, you can check out our blog at namehero.com/blog. But that pretty much does it. And if you have any questions, you can obviously always reach out to our NameHero.com team. We'd be more than happy to help you. So thanks so much for watching, and welcome to the Managed Cloud at NameHero.com.